And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. It's time for political potluck. As if we're going to a political potluck at a military base.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody march.
Veteran watchers, this is our 11th show. This is the part of the show where we each bring a story to the party, just like bringing a dish of potluck to dinner, which I've never, again, been to before in my life.
Night.
I know, because I really don't believe these actually exist.
You didn't grow up in the South.
Or
you
the
know
Midwest.
Potlucks, right?
I know them in the Midwest.
Bring it on.
Is this it? Really? All right, Jersey, we didn't do that.
It's a
We ordered in
Southern
pizza,
thing.
which we actually did for the show. We're going to do it in a couple minutes. Anyway, Jenny, what did you bring to potluck tonight?
Yeah, so I want to talk about the tragedy of the three Muslim students at UNC who were murdered last night or yesterday afternoon. Dea Bakarat, Yusor Abu Salah, and Razan Abu Salah. They're all between the ages of 19 and 23, very upstanding, beloved students. Two of them are dental students who do a lot of community service in the area. They had been afraid of their neighbor. He had threatened them before, or what one of the fathers called picked on them before, and showed his gun to them before. Now, everybody's buzzing about this because, you know, this was a school shooting. Those constitute breaking news on a regular basis, even if somebody just has a gun near a college campus.
But Jon Stewart retired.
But
you expect that to be...
But last night, nobody reported it. It happened around 5 p.m., I understand. Nobody reported it in the mainstream media until this morning. So, you know, there was a rush of Twitter hashtags, Muslim Lives Matter. You know, and then also, if it were a Muslim man who had just, you know, shot 3 white kids in the head, we'd be talking about the terror. We'd be throwing out the T word, you know, and quoting verses from the Quran. So everybody's a little astounded at what's been happening and very upset.
I think the state of news, you've nailed it completely. Last night, we saw it was wall-to-wall Brian Williams suspension. It was Jon Stewart also retired. Then for a while we had, well, since Jon Stewart's leaving The Daily Show and Brian Williams is being suspended, that must mean Jon Stewart is taking over. And meanwhile, a school shooting where 3 students are dead.
Kids are dead.
And it's so commonplace now, unfortunately, that it isn't. When it happened at Virginia Tech, that was horrifying. And you could go through campus after campus, and now we're just numb by it, Rick Unger.
Yeah, it's, you know, what's relevant is what you talked about, media covering media, which I'm a little sick of. We're not the story. We're supposed to cover the story.
You understand I write for Mediaite.
I understand, but we are not the story. We're here to talk about real stories.
If you keep talking.
Jenny's right, though. She's right. I mean, this happened yesterday afternoon. We didn't hear about it till this morning. Lots of questions over what motivated it. Was it a hate crime? Was it just, as some have said, that they had a disagreement over parking? It is true that the entire building was terrified of this guy. We don't know, but it is pretty weird that it took that long to hear about it.
Yeah, and if you look at his Facebook page, which is still up, he calls himself a new atheist, but he does talk a lot about religion and how much he hates religion, all religions, really, and, you know, thinks it's the cause of all of our problems.
You had to love the Daily Caller's headline on it, though. Progressive atheist murders Muslims.
So it's even a blue-red story.
I mean,
even
come
when
on,
this happens. Yeah.
And I think it's sad because these kids are really upstanding people, and they are young Muslims in America who really dash all of the stereotypes of Muslims.
Well, yeah, they
that
did volunteer
talk
work.
About.
That was the last Facebook post that they had.
And the couple had just gotten married, and the wife had just gotten accepted to dental school.
I know. It's the saddest thing, and I'm glad that was your potluck tonight, so we could finally cast a light on what should have been a major story. Rick, not too much time for your potluck.
Yeah, I guess not. Interesting development in the world of welfare. Tennessee has been running an experiment for the past 6 months to see how many people who are getting welfare are drug addicts. You know, there's this whole meme out there that people on welfare are drug addicted losers who don't want to go to work. Well, the results are in. 0.2% of the people who took the test tested positive for any kind of drug use. Now, that may be an aberration, except wouldn't you know that they did the same thing in Utah? You know what the result was? 0.2%. The estimates of drug use in Tennessee, 6% of the general public. Estimates of drug use in Utah, 8% of the general public. No, folks, there are problems with welfare, but stop saying that these people are a bunch of loser drug addicts. They're taking fewer drugs than the general population.
Could it be that the drugs are so expensive that just welfare alone
Yes, it
doesn't allow
could.
them to afford it?
Yes, it could. And by the way, if you think that anybody's getting the message, Scott Walker in Wisconsin, my favorite governor, Scott Walker is pushing a bill through right now that if you're on food stamps and or getting unemployment insurance, then you have to be drug tested, because apparently if you take drugs, you don't need to eat.
I can't believe they even did a poll
Which is just humiliating.
in Utah. Are there any
Yeah.
drugs there at all? I went
yeah.
skiing there
8%,
once.
8%.
Mormons don't do drugs.
No, I'm just saying. I went skiing there once at Snowbird, and the bars closed at like 11. It was pathetic. Anyway, coming up next, more political potluck. This is the Daily Wrap, and it's only on Newsmax TV, live from New York City. And welcome back to the show, everybody. Right now, we're talking about our favorite stories of the day. Of course, it is political potluck. Joining us for potluck for the first time, Noelle, what do you got?
Ooh, money. I want to talk about money.
love money.
I want to talk about
We love
2016 and where the money's going on the GOP side, because
Interesting.
that's what I know.
I'm going to say Jeb Bush is where we're going to go with that.
Jeb Bush is raking it in, but you got that right. But Walker, Wisconsin Walker, who defeated the unions, made his state a right to work, had a lot of big donors that supported that movement. A lot of people are looking at Scott Walker, and you've got to remember, Scott Walker, governor of Wisconsin, doesn't even have a college degree. There's a lot of young
we
people.
know.
Yeah, a lot of young people can identify with that. A lot of
Did he-
people,
did he
know,
go to
And he
school
went
at all?
for 4 years
Yeah.
and then
One
didn't
second, did he go to
graduate.
school at all?
yeah, he went to college. He just didn't finish.
Thrown
Just
out.
like Mark
4 years.
Zuckerberg, there are tons of people, CEOs, politicians, tons of people that have achieved that did not have a formal education.
Did you know that Peter Jennings didn't even go to college, period? He
Right.
just graduated high school now.
Except
Did
that-
you know Brian Williams is a neurosurgeon?
We have pictures of that somewhere.
Except that
isn't it?
Governor Walker, to be fair, we should point out, unlike the other examples, got thrown out of school. And that's why he didn't graduate.
Oh, he lived a
What
little. He had a
for?
little fun.
He got thrown out.
Why?
He broke some rule.
That would be worse than doing cocaine in Columbia, right?
Then he went to the Red Cross.
He didn't get caught or
What?
thrown out.
Oh, well, I'm just saying.
And
that
he graduated. And he went to law school.
There may
And
or
he
may not have-
graduated at the top
I'm
of his
just
class.
saying we can't judge any presidential candidate by what they did in college. Like,
It's
right?
impressive
Not
that-
getting a
I think
degree.
it's im-
I'm
I'm
just saying
not
it's
a fan of
impressive.
his, but I think it's impressive
Yeah.
that he did what he did so young. He was one of the youngest.
Yeah,
right,
he's
to-
in his 40s. I mean, he's making a presidential run. I mean,
He's fantastic.
He's just, look for
He's
some of the
not
money to go
fantastic,
there.
though.
He became a county executive where half of his staff are now in jail, and he went on to become one of the worst governors we've ever seen, promising to increase jobs in the state, and now has the worst job
So
record
why
in
is
America.
he
He got
leading
some
the
money.
polls the way he is if he's so horrible as you
Yeah,
described?
it's a
Boom.
little frightening, isn't it? And I think the good news is that, like so many Republican candidates we saw in the last election, he will not last at the front very long. He is, and look, you've heard me say it. I understand that Americans may want a conservative president this time around.
You got it.
I get it. He ain't it. He's not it. If he's
Who
the
is it?
best, you've got.
Who is it,
Well,
naysayer?
you know what? It's not up to me to say what your party should do, but if you want to win
You
and
know
have
what?
an intelligent
But
president,
if-
Jeb Bush is
if-
your guy.
If you don't like it and you say that is this the best the Republicans can come up with, what would your solution
Jeb
be?
Bush would
Okay.
be my
That's all I
solution.
ask.
Yeah.
Just give me an answer.
I think Jeb Bush
Ask
is
and
not
answer.
somebody
He's
who I'll vote
definitely
for,
gonna
but
be
I
the
would sleep at
nominee.
night if he were president still.
Good to
I
hear.
would too. I
Good to
agree
hear.
with
He's an
that.
intelligent guy.
I'll make sure he asks you for a donation.
Well,
He's
you won't
smart, he's
get
got
it.
a
I don't
great
want to
life.
be president, but at least he's
Okay.
competent.
So everybody, the horse that people are backing right now is Scott Walker.
They're looking
still more
at
Jeb
Scott
Bush,
Walker.
right?
Jeb
he
Bush
up in
has
the
the
polls?
early money, and he got the early money as soon as Mitt Romney pulled out. Everybody was like the floodgates open. Now people are starting to look behind their back going, oh, this Walker kid may be a good investment. So he is getting some money. Yes,
Why,
he is, and
though?
he's doing good in
What
the
is it
polls.
that- What is it that they think makes him a
Oh,
good bet?
there's a couple of things. The right to work deal, he took on the unions. You guys,
They
that's
love
tough.
that.
The unions are tough, you know.
Particularly in a blue state
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. So,
And he's won 3 elections, even though he only really
Absolutely.
had to win
and,
2. So
And the
that's
other
pretty
one was a
impressive.
close one. That last one was a close one.
That's
Because
true.
he had the unions going against him. So put him on a
But
national
is that going to
stage.
work in the national stage?
Put it,
I don't know.
It sure can.
Getting rid of unions?
Look how big the unions are,
The,
and they're
the Democrat
scary.
in me hopes you run him. The American in me says, God forbid this is who you would pick.
Thankfully, we have 22 whole months to discuss this and let this
Yeah,
all work
over,
out.
We have a
over,
reason to
and
exist.
over.
Exactly. So, hey, everybody, it's my turn for a political potluck. And boy, I've wanted to talk about this for a while. My birthday, as I mentioned last night, is coming up on Monday. And apparently that is a holiday. That is President's Day. So even more reason to take me out on Sunday night, if you so choose, if you're in the New York, New Jersey area. Now, I turn, and you're not going to believe this, the power of makeup and the Viagra and the Botox and everything else in theory, I will only be 44 years young. And what horrified me, my wife and I were out at a bar in Hoboken just a couple weeks ago, and it was a younger crowd, but we didn't realize what younger meant. So I guess my political potluck is, you want to feel old? Those of you watching out there that may have been born before 1980, well, get this. So we were talking to two people that just happened to be next to us when we were waiting for the bartender. Person was wearing the same baseball cap as where my wife went to school. And we said, oh, so, how long have you been coming here? And the friend of the person we were talking to says, oh, well, actually, my birthday was last week, so this is my first time here. So, oh, well, how old are you? They said, 21. And then I realized, it hit me. To get into a bar legally in the United States, you could be born in 1994 and be in that bar. And that freaked me out.
Yeah,
1994, that's when True Lies came out. And now these people are in bars with me. So the point is, everybody,
What is the point?
enjoy your youth while you can. It goes by, Rick, before
You're saying this to
you
me?
know it. I gotta go because I'm getting old during this segment alone. Up next, can you imagine The Daily Show without Jon Stewart? Well, we'll have the stunning retirement announcement in just a moment on The Daily Wrap.